Section 2.5, example 10, solving a quadratic equation with the quadratic formula. Use the quadratic formula to solve. So just like we did earlier, we could separate each part and solve from there. So we have a in this case equal to 1, coefficient of x squared. B is also equal to 1, coefficient of x. And C is equal to 2. That's our constant. And now we just plug it into our formula. Negative b, which is 1. So negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1. C, which is 2. All over 2 times a. So 2 times 1. And from here, negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1, minus 2 times or 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, divided by 2 times 1, which is 2. And simplifying inside of that square root, we have a negative 1 plus or minus. The square root of 1 minus 8 is a negative 7. And it looks like we have a problem there. We have a negative inside the square root. So it looks like we have a complex solution, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and figure out what our complex solution is. There's only one more step to simplifying. It's factoring out the square root of negative 1, because we know that that's an imaginary number. That's an I. So negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 7i, and dividing the whole thing by 2. And in the standards of a complex number, we want to make sure that we write it as a complex number. So first off, let's separate our two solutions. Let's separate the plus version from the minus version. So we have x is equal to a negative 1 plus the square root of 7i divided by 2. And also x is equal to negative 1 minus square root of 7i divided by 2. I had to pause because I noticed that we could have simplified it here first before we separated it, but it's okay. From here, we're going to separate it. Remember, we always want these to be in a plus bi form. So this is going to be a negative 1 over 2 plus the square root of 7 over 2i. And same thing over here. X is equal to a negative 1 over 2 minus the square root of 7 over 2i. Those are the two solutions. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, bye.